All right. Do you now want to talk about members of Congress on stocks?
Yeah, we can talk about that.
Okay, so let's talk about should members of Congress be allowed to trade stocks? I recently saw there was a bipartisan bill presented in the House that would ban lawmakers from trading individual stocks. I feel like we have been hearing about this for years, actually many years, and according to NPR, for more than a decade, a series of bills have been proposed to address such trades, but differences about the details and lack of support from top congressional leaders stalled past reform efforts. And the question is, I'm going to ask it, will this time be different?
And I love the part in this quote excerpt from NPR. Lack of support from top congressional leaders. I wonder why.
I know. Well, we
wait a
like
minute.
trading, especially when we give some of the data why they love trading. Yeah.
But I mean, when I saw this, the bill made me curious about how active Congress was when it came to trading. And let's just say, I mean, I couldn't believe the numbers. In 2022, 154 members of Congress made 14,752 trades. 2023, 118 members, 11,491 trades. In 2024, 113 members made 9,261 trades. I'll say a light year for Congress in 2024.
Right.
And through July of 2025, 108 members made 7,810 trades. I mean, this is just a crazy amount of activity, and I'm not sure how they even have time for that. Aren't they supposed to be taking care of their constituents and not worried about trading stocks back and forth on a moment-to-moment basis? 'Cause, I mean, you're talking about, on average, really 3, 4, maybe 5 trades. That would give you, just make it easy, 100 members, about 400 trades. We're talking about 10,000 essentially on average. I mean,
you're talking
that's
hundreds,
nuts.
thousands of trades. And next time I look when they show Congress on TV, I look to see if they're on their cell phones during trades. I would hope not. I hope they're paying attention.
I mean, I'm just thinking about this right now. Just make numbers easy again. 100 members of Congress, 10,000 trades. That's 100 trades essentially per Congress member.
Right. I'm having dinner with a congressman tonight. I might kind of pose that question to him. I don't want to offend him, but like, hey, can you tell me what's going on with this?
It's odd to say the least, and you know, I mean, we'll have a further discussion. But gosh, it doesn't make sense to me.
Well, you talked about the numbers. Let's talk about the return numbers, because the returns, well, a lot of people would love to have these returns. Democrats producing an average return in 2024, 31.1%. Republicans, they produce an average return of 26.1%. Now, comparing to the S&P 500, that was up 23.3%. Now, the numbers, they're very staggering when you look at the individual performance of some of these politicians. And this really got me when I saw this. In 2024, Rep. David Rouser, I believe we'll say his name, is a Republican from North Carolina. He made 149%. You're laughing. It's crazy. I mean, we should hire him as our money manager.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz, she's a Democrat from Florida. She was up 142.3%. Senator Ron Wyden, a Democrat from Oregon, 123.8%. Again, it's not just a few here. Rep. Roger Williams, a Republican from Texas, up 111.2%. And this one surprised me. Nancy Pelosi, who's been accused of this the most, well, poor her, she was only up 70.9%. I guess she took the last year off or something after all the flack she took.
She didn't get the hot tips, maybe. I don't know. I mean, the thing you look at, these are hedge fund beating returns. I mean, if we told our clients last year you were up 110%, 140%, I mean, I think we'd be managing tens of billions, hundreds of billions of dollars. I mean, these are just staggering when you look at it. And personally, I think it's ridiculous that politicians can trade individual stocks, and I do hope there's finally action that ends this. And, you know, I kind of look at it, you know, one of our employees, her son works at one of the big accounting firms.
Yeah.
He can't hold individual stocks.
No.
I think that politicians know more about companies than he does. It's crazy that limitation's not placed on
and we
them.
have clients come through that they say, I can't manage a portfolio, can do it for me. We do have discretion, so we can do that for people that can't do it themselves. But why isn't Congress have the same restrictions? Now, I know that some of these congressmen, they have large businesses, they might have a big stock portfolio. That's fine. Let somebody else manage it, put it in a mutual fund, do something else with it. And not even mutual fund, because they might pay taxes, but give it to a professional money manager to do it. You should not be doing it. And what even gets me is now we're hearing more about the cryptos. And unfortunately, we're going to bring this out. Our president is very much into cryptos, and he's done some things that we don't agree with that either. It's just, everybody's kind of taking advantage of their situation.
Yeah, and this is where we disagree. I don't think you should be allowed to have a money manager. I think, you're getting in Congress to be a public servant.
Right.
And if it means you paying taxes, well, you're going to have to pay taxes on those stocks at some point anyways. I think you should have one of two options. You either liquidate your portfolio, go into Congress at that point, you can buy index funds, or you put a stop on that portfolio the day you enter Congress. So you can go in. If you don't want to sell the stock because you're worried about taxes, fine. But that means you now have to hold that stock until you exit Congress.
I think a blind trust something because
I just don't trust people.
Well, but you could have $100 million portfolio. It's unfair to say we can't sell anything, or you got to sell it and pay all the tax. I mean, there is alternatives to that. I think a blind trust where they don't know what's going on. But again, they have no contact with that money manager. They can't. Now, I know that's probably what you're afraid of. Like, there is some pressure. Like, you're going to do this, I'll move it from.
Let me ask you this: do you trust politicians?
Oh, most definitely. They're the most.
That's what I
honest.
mean. I just think you start to kind of make these concessions, they'll find loopholes, and that's just where I think there needs to be change, and maybe starting with the blind trust is a good kind of way to go about it. But I'm pretty confident. All of a sudden we find out, Nancy Pelosi's blind trust was up 80% last year. It's like, how blind was it really?
Well, yeah. I mean, or maybe, again, the tax comes into it. Well, I think people get the message on that one. So